Musician magazine. And today we have the great honor and pleasure of bringing you some exclusive bass news in the world. We have with us direct from Vienna, Andreas Neubauer, and my old compadre, Juan Garcia-Herreros, aka the Snow Owl. There we go.
Hey.
And so you guys we're touching base, play of words, touching base, because you guys have some big news for us. Tell us what's going on there in Vienna. I see something next to you, but I'm not going to steal your thunder. Tell me the story. What's going on?
Well, good morning over there. I guess we have about, 9 hours of difference here of us talking here in the time zones. And I want to say huge hello to all the bass family in Bass Musician magazine. You guys are the best. Raul, great to see you. Happy 2017. And this is my brother Andreas Neubauer, responsible for building 10 years ago the first Snow Owl bass, and this year celebrating the 10th year anniversary with the Phoenix model, which is right here.
Exactly.
Wow. So tell us, how is this bass? Because I've seen your bass.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us. There's all kinds of exquisite details in the Phoenix. Tell us a bit about what was the inspiration behind this instrument.
Well, there's an unbelievable emotional element to the story behind this bass, because in 2016 Andreas had a very tough battle with cancer, and he survived this amazing battle, and I'm so happy that he's here with us today. And I said to him, you know, we've been wanting to make this bass for years, this specific bolton contrabass guitar. And I said, Andy, why don't we call this the Phoenix bass, that you rose out of the ashes? And he got immediately right to work as soon as he had his first string. And the result is standing right here next to us.
Nice. And if I remember correctly, I'm going to have you talk me through some of the details, because this is a bolt-on neck as compared to neck-through design, which
Exactly.
I think your original bass is neck-through, right?
This is the first of its kind that we have achieved a bolt-on contrabass electric guitar. We have, Andreas has designed what we call a T-profile bolt-on neck. Okay? And the placement of the screws, where they traditionally would be, where the body meets the neck, he has strategically placed them in different places, and this has a lot of influence with how much tension is being distributed on both sides of the instrument. So there's for example, my experience playing it now for the last 2 months. I have never felt so much sustain and so much balance between super long scale strings like this. I've never felt anything like that before in my life. There is an absolute resonance, and it's almost like each string has enough distance and place for rotation now, and without the tension that usually would stop the strings from vibrating in the middle from a bolt-on instrument.
Gotcha. And talking through some of the with the string placement, I've noticed that the strings can be either through the body or directly placed on the bridge.
Yes, we have both inside of this model. So the player has the decision himself to put it on the bridge or put it through the body.
Okay. Do you feel is that like individual preference? How do you like them?
Me personally, it might sound funny. I have the first 5 strings, the B, E, A, D, G. I have them through the body, but only the C string, for some reason, I like putting it on the bridge. It felt a huge difference for me.
The tension.
Okay.
The tension, yes.
And as we move from the strings, the next thing we notice is there is a ramp, which, if I'm also recalling correctly, underneath it has 2 humbuckers.
Correct. We've got, there's the 2 humbuckers, which of course are switchable from single coil to humbucker. I love having the option of being able to switch, because with those configurations, you can always go precision style, jazz Fender style, Stingray style, any style of a sound which is based on pickup configurations, you can emulate with this bass so easily. And I love that. And the ramp itself, something that we call the comfort ramp, it's just such an unbelievable support under each string attack from your fingers. It's like butter. It's like each note is supported so evenly. It has the same radius like the fingerboard, and it's just an unbelievable feeling, this curved feeling that the string has, the ramp has it with you. It just flows along with you all the way. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Got you. And it's certainly the way the cutaway is, it gives you extraordinary reach to the fretboard. That's what, about a 36-inch scale there?
Exactly. Always been a purist to Anthony Jackson's vision of the contrabass guitar, which it should be 36-inch scale. And to have a extension soloist neck, you need to have room in the upper register. And this is where the mastery of what Andreas does is the placement of where is the compromise between where you shave off a part of this neck, and this is the reason for the T-profile neck. You see, there's a piece of pear tree which is for the support of the screws, and it doesn't get in the way of the flame maple neck where it was shaved, so that I could be able to put my hands up here without any compromise.
Gotcha. And with a neck that wide, if I'm also remembering correctly, 2 truss rods.
2 truss rods, correct.
Okay. And most recently, as I was having a conversation with a luthier, we were talking about the shape of headstock. And I never realized how important it was because of the way it accommodates the tension with the strings. Can you tell us a little, again, about that? And I see the snow plow on at the top of the headstock. That's lovely, but more the physical part and the tuners. Tell us a bit about that part.
If there's one thing that I learned from Andreas, it's how little we realize how much the headstock influences the sound of the bass. I mean, even if you just start with the choice of nut that you take. Some people choose this ivory or this plastic or this specific one, which is aluminum, right? Brass. Brass. The brass here has a different timbre on the strings. It's gonna change the sound, the way that the punch and the attack and the way that the full rotation of that string goes. It starts already here at the brass nut, right? We have extended, of course, the B string length right here. So when I'm tuning the B string, it's this one right here, the last one.
Gotcha.
And the reason for that is also part of Anthony Jackson's philosophy of having the same length of an upright piano string of a low B string. So it's the same tension that you would have on a piano, which I find fascinating. Now, the distribution then is B, E string, A string, right? And these are hip shot tuners. And thanks to this reverse mechanism here that you can switch them. Reverse gear. It doesn't matter in which way, if I put the string under the bottom, underneath, or on top, I can always tune it in one direction and it will go where it has to go. That's also a nice idea from Hipshot that Andreas has integrated into the instrument. And the machine head, as we call it, the Neubauer machine head, is a blend of the flame maple and the pear. It's always a two-toned wood selection that we use. So it's not just one sound that you get in here in the head, it's both woods up here. And you'll see that in the photos, I think, if you're showing them.
Gotcha. Well, and since we're talking about wood, with the neck, you mentioned a combination of maple and pear, and then the body is alder?
Alder. It's an alder body, yes. Okay. I have such a great affinity as from my South American roots, I mean, we grew up with so many Alder Body bass players. I was thinking my whole life, wow, all the guys that I love are playing Alder Body. And I said, I have to make once in my life an instrument with the Alder Body. And all three of the woods that we have selected are, of course, world friendly, environmental friendly, non-tropical, and every wood is from Austria.
Oh, very cool. And tell us a little bit about it's always fascinating with selection of wood. I know that certainly using things that are close to you, but as far as the sound that you're looking for, how do the woods affect the sound of the instrument?
The experience of so many years of playing different basses and hearing so many different basses, combined with the knowledge from Andreas of what he knows as well. When I can tell him, I want this color, I want this color, I want the bass to sound powerful but not be too heavy on my back or on my neck, all that stuff. I basically looked up some of my favorite bass sounds that I've heard my whole life, just to celebrate all of these sounds and just make one big soup out of the whole thing. And I selected the woods from my favorite bass sounds and I put them together. And that's basically and exactly what I was looking for, what I was imagining is exactly what came out. So it's good to know what woods other players are using so you have an imagination. And it's also good to experiment. So the flame maple with pear is not a very common thing that you would see on a contrabass guitar. And the way that the midtones and the punch is smoothed out from the pear. The pear for me is like the diplomat of the whole instrument, because the whole instrument is like a tank. And then you have this diplomatic wood here that is like smoothing out everything all the time. It's just amazing. And the pear was the suggestion from Andreas.
Very cool. And there's always something, I know there's so many important things inside the electronics, because we talked a little bit about the humbuckers and the way you switch the pickups. Tell me a little bit, because I saw the knobs and switches. Tell us a little bit about that.
We work many years now with Knoll Electronics and custom electronics, of course. I'm somebody that I prefer to be able to control the sound as much as I can from the stage without having to turn around on the amplifier and without having to, bend down on the stage in the middle of a performance.
Sure.
And that means you have to have a 4-band EQ on your instrument. Bass, low mids, high mids, and treble. As a finishing touch, let's say as to have to give it an aura of the brights, we have what we call the Acoustic Enhancer, which is secretly placed in the bass here to get all of those upper register acoustic frequencies and to bring them out of the bass. So there's like a little microphone hidden there that we use. And then your normal blend knob and your master volume. So, but to be very honest, until now, I barely have to add or take away any frequency from the bass. It's so evenly out from these woods that it's probably only in an acoustical situation that I'd have to change something on the bass.
Gotcha. And of course, with any beautiful instrument, there is the question of the finish. Tell us a little bit about that. It's lovely. What did you guys do?
Oh, we of course I always wanted to have a burst. Like there's this famous sunburst and all this stuff. Being such a fan of all of the old Fenders and the Jaco Pastorius bass and all this stuff, I love those bursts. And I said, but what can we do? And this theme of the Phoenix, we call this the Phoenix burst. And Andreas chose to have the direction of the depth and the explosion of the burst come from the bottom up, as if it's rising. So it's a complete thing that he did, which is also mind-blowing for me, is that it's really only just one color that he used. And you see so many shades in there, especially in the light, which you'll see also in the photos. But it's just his over 30 years of experience with color and lack and finish that he did it all with one color. It's just amazing.
Very nice. And I know that there will be people that will recognize it, and this is kind of non-related to the bass, but you've got a fret wrap on.
Yes.
Tell us
Yes.
about how does the fret wrap affect what you do with this? How does that...
Well, Jay and everybody at Groove Gear, I mean, this is Bass family, and they've saved a lot of people's backs with their equipment. They're helping us to carry our stuff all over the world. Big fan of the Groove Gear stuff, and also of the Fusion bags. And there's many situations where it's nice to just be able to like lean this over and cover up some of those extra sustain notes from the B string or the E string that I might not be able to mute in a very vulnerable situation where I'm doing something on the upper strings. We only have 5 fingers. It gets limited. And I look at this like a dampener on a piano. You know,
Okay.
depending on the situation. Also, when I use a lot of my distortion effects, that's usually when I bring it up to here. And then I have no extra harmonics ringing out of the distortion. This brings it up, this completely like mutes everything. And it brings the strings a little lower, and I'm able to do more acrobatics, I guess as you would say it. It just makes life easier for you. It's like having a third hand there for you, helping you with the muting or the positioning. But a bass like this with so much sustain and with so much harmonic partials ringing all over the place, you have to have something that helps you to control it. And this is a very genius invention.
Very cool, very cool. Well, and in addition to this fabulous bass, which we'll come back and talk a little bit about, if anybody's interested, how they would find out more. But you also had more news for us. What else is going on?
Oh, there's wonderful news for the city of Vienna and hopefully for the music world as far as education. Of course, everybody knows that I have experience over 20 years as being an educator in all levels of universities, from Berklee College of Music to Moscow Conservatory to here in the Performing Arts School in Vienna. And there's a new university which is called the Jam Music Lab University in Vienna, here in the Gasometer. And they have created the first master's studies of electric bass.
Nice.
And I will be the teacher heading this master study. So if anybody anywhere from around the world has finished their bachelor's and they want to come to Vienna and do their master's with me, well, you're welcome to audition, and I'd be more than happy to receive you here and grow with you musically.
And if somebody wants to apply for that, where would they look? Where would they go?
It should be simple. The website, I think it's right behind me. Let me see. It says, yes, www.jammusiclab.at for Austria.
And then lastly, if people want to acquire a Phoenix, what is going to be the best place for them to find out more information or to actually purchase one? Where would they go?
There's many things which we have done. First of all, in my Epic Bass Lessons series, there is an entire episode which shows the entire construction process of the instrument, which I think is a behind-the-scene look for anybody who's interested in purchasing one. Of course, if you are based in Europe, it is easier to be able to come to Vienna and visit Andreas's workshop to try out some of the basses which are there. There are sound examples. There's also trailers that we've had put up over the instrument. So in general, the best information is www.neubauerguitars.com. Also through Facebook. I'm always available. Andreas is always available. We're always happy to receive you and meet you and share our passion for this great instrument. So everybody's welcome to contact us.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule. Andreas, you're very soft-spoken. There wasn't much to say, but we appreciate your art, because theory is an art, and without what you do, the snow owl would have no voice.
Yes.
And so it is so important, and we're very grateful, even though he did all the talking. We couldn't do this without you. So again, very, very grateful. Folks, find out more about the Phoenix bass, the studies in Vienna, the masters. There's just so much great news here, and we're very happy to share it here exclusively for you on Bass Musician Magazine. Thank you, gentlemen.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Raul.
Thank you so much, Raul. Bye.